Welcome back to the channel and to my next round with the old Panther A. The Hawks are currently mid-flight, headed off to South Korea on their way to the Philippines. And let me tell you, it's so quiet around here, you could hear a sprue drop. Perfect time to crack open the glue and get started. I had a set of Panther G engine screens lying around, but of course they were too small. So I went old school, raided some window screen, no, not from my windows, picked it up at a thrift store for $1. Not perfect, but hey, it does the job and makes the tank look a whole lot better. And here's the real kicker, this glue actually worked. Held the screens right down. If I had gone with the CA, it would have been a messy, sticky disaster. So I'm calling this a win. This is a trick I've been pulling off for years. In fact, I did this exact same thing way back when I first built this Panther. Nowadays, most modern kits will throw in some PE screens, or you can order them online without too much trouble. But if you're looking... oh my god... But if you're not looking to shell out cash for aftermarket parts, a bit of window screen is still a solid alternative. Old school, cheap, and it works. Like I said, it's not perfect. It's not going to win me the blue ribbon at the country fair, and sure, adding these strips won't change that. But you know what? It still makes the Panther look a whole lot better than leaving it bare. Back in the day, we didn't have aftermarket parts. Photo etch? Forget it. You basically had to be a chemist and cook your own in the basement. So, you got creative. I didn't have books then, and honestly I still don't. So, I learned on what I did have, the Tamiya box art. Funny enough, half of the time the painting on the box was more accurate than the actual kit. So, that became my reference library. If it looked good on the box, that's what I aim for. These days, I don't have to rely on box art anymore. Now it's all just a finger tap away with the endless supply of internet images. Building this kit really stirred up some old memories though. I can still picture myself spending late nights trying to imitate Chet Payne, and failing miserably. The good news is, thanks to the internet, the hobby's better than ever. We've got clear guides, tutorials, and techniques that actually explain how to improve a model instead of leaving you to guess in the dark by reading a book. You know, building this Panther really did send me down memory lane. Back when I first started modeling, it wasn't about aftermarket or accuracy. It was about slapping glue on plastic and hoping your fingerprints didn't become part of the kit forever. Half the time, I didn't even paint them because I couldn't get them the way I wanted them by seeing them, other people do it and things like that. It always frustrated me, but those were my younger days. You'd have those late nights sitting in the kitchen table with a little desk lamp, convinced you were about to build something as good as the box art. Only to wake up in the morning and realize you'd glued the tracks on backwards. But that was part of the fun, right? I think that's why I keep coming back to these older kits. They reminded me of what modeling wasn't about, getting everything perfect. It was about enjoying the build. Every glue, fingerprint, crooked decal, and glob of paint was a learning step. And honestly, sometimes I miss those days, and not overthinking it, just building for the joy of it. So yeah, I'm glad I went this route, and now we roll into more old school trickery with this cleaning rods. The kit gives you the basic parts, but I wasn't about to leave them plain. I grabbed a bit of styrene tubing, whipped up a mounting bracket, and used some reference photos of Panthers to get it looking like the part. Nothing fancy, just a little extra detail that makes the whole thing pop. Sometimes the way I build a kit, the parts end up going on completely out of order. It makes sense in the moment, until later when I'm spending hours trying to work welds around tiny track hooks. That's just how it goes sometimes. On the brighter side, I dug up another Warhammer bit for that side right into, oh my god, I have to go on. into the conflict theme for this build. Sorry. So I tossed that on too. A little kit bashing chaos never hurt anyone. The conflict part actually looks pretty good, but I'll admit, part of me kind of wishes I had just stuck with the plain old Panther. Too late now, we are here, so we're moving forward with it. I'm adding some welds where I figure they make sense on a futuristic version of a tank. Accurate? Who knows, but at the end of the day, it's my build, so that's how we're doing it. Here I'm using Tamiya epoxy putty, the quick type, which I rolled out using that piece of styrene you see, with a little water to stop it from sticking to everything in sight, and the clay silicone tools. Well, hold on a sec, let me check on the Hawk's flight. They're 2 hours into a 12-hour trip. Yeah, that's one big reason I never signed up for those long flights. Oh my god, they're horrible. Oh, and yes, gotta make the money for the bills too. Yeah, don't forget about that. Modeling doesn't pay the rent yet. Alright, back to the build. Before we start wandering into travel advice and life lessons. Thinking back to my younger modeling days, I remember my first attempts at dry brushing. And oh boy, did I do it wrong. I just kept slapping paint on and never thought to remove any of it. Remember, I was using a book. This was on some old 172 kit I was building, and somehow I thought that was the right technique. I have a vivid memory of exactly where I was sitting when I was doing it too. Funny how little details like that stick with you. And yeah, fast forward a few decades, I'm showing my age, and I finally get it. You actually need to wipe most of the paint off before brushing. Who knew? But at least back then, every disaster was a lesson in patience, frustration, and sticky fingers. So, what's a technique you remember learning? Or a kit disaster you'll never forget? I've had plenty of both, and let's be honest, I still do. Drop your stories down in the comments. Let's swap war stories, tips, and laughs, and build a little modeling community together. After all, half the fun is hearing about everyone else's glue-covered disasters. Still working out of order here, because let's face it, life gets in the way. But now it's time to tackle the Zimmerit and finally finish the turret. Honestly, I am still amazed at how it turned out. My confidence has shot through the roof, and I keep asking myself, why did I wait so long to do this? So, here's my advice. Grab a $20 kit, yes, they're still available, give it a shot, and see what you can accomplish. You might surprise yourself, and maybe even finally conquer your own modeling white whale. Alright, this next clip is going to be over 3 minutes, so I'm going to hit you with a few quick things about the build and Zimmerit, and then, well, I'm going to ramble. Honestly, I think you probably already knew that was coming. That's the kind of my thing now. Mixing tips, stories, and a little chaos all in one video. This time around, I'm sticking with Tamiya Smooth Putty. I haven't experimented with anything else yet. I thought about trying some DOS clay, that air dry clay, but honestly, that feels like a guaranteed fail waiting to happen. Right now, I'm just using my fingers to spread the putty nice and thin. A little water helps smooth it out too. Later on, I'll show you the actual tool I use for this step. So stick around past my usual rambling. There's some useful stuff coming, I promise. Let's go further down memory lane. Or is this is your life for modelers? You used to come to my store and buy just about every Tamiya kit there was. Until one day I sold the place, and now it's a Planet Fitness. Sorry about that, but hey, I needed to retire. Highway Hobby. Yes, I got just about every Tamiya kit from you. So, what was your hobby store that you used to go to? And is it a Planet Fitness? Let me know in the comment section. Let me see if I can, what's the words I'm looking for? visualize to you my experience going to this hobby store. I used to, well, at the time I didn't drive, so my mother used to drive me. I was very young, didn't have my license. I would open up the doors, walk up the stairs, and be met with all kinds of models. The first thing I would do is go over to the display case where people build models and put them in there and wonder, how in the world can I get my models to look like theirs? It had such a matte finish to it, and I could never do it. Well, until now. And then of course I would go down the model aisle and spend like an hour looking at all the Tamiya models, because at that time they didn't have Dragon, and they had Revell and stuff like that, but I was stuck on Tamiya. I'd rush home. Well, I couldn't rush because I wasn't driving yet. With that one carefully chosen model, open the box and just stare at all the parts, wondering how on earth am I going to put it together. And then I crack open my Shepherd paint book and go over all the techniques. Back then, there wasn't nearly as many as we have today. Ah, the good old days, when "It's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are?" came on. My mom didn't have to worry. I was busy building a model, glue-covered fingers and all, safe, productive, and perfectly obsessed. I also remember coming home from school, cracking open a Hi-C can from both ends, and getting that metallic taste as you chug it down. Oh, wait a second, we're going too far down memory lane. Let's get back to the models. Alright, and we just missed the ice machine. I pretty much got the putty spread just the way I want it, and now it's almost time to break out the Zimmerit roller. I'll link a video that dives just into the rollers if you want a closer look, but for now, let's get to rolling. Time to see all the prep work pay off. Is it the roller? Well, yeah, it definitely helps to get nice even imprints. Back in the day, I was using a razor saw, and I think Tamiya Zimmerit tool came out a little later. Basically, it was just a bunch of mini razor saws designed to make lines while skipping a bit to line up the next ones. Sounds easy, right? Yeah, not so much. That's why I gave up back then. I got tired of spending hours on a model only to ruin it with the Zimmerit attempt. Now, though, it's a whole different story. With the right putty and proper tools, it's no big deal. Maybe a little mix of both methods works best. Lesson learned the hard way decades ago. Am I saying grab these tools and magically you'll get perfect Zimmerit? Well, maybe, but it's still going to take practice, patience, and a few inevitable, that's all it's going to be, okay? Mistakes before you get there. The thing is, you can't just stall at the gate. Gotta jump in and start rolling. Well, literally. Even if your first few attempts look like a catwalk across your turret. Oh, and before you go running out buying everything you see on a channel, make sure you actually need it first. Guilty as charged. I rushed out thinking some tool would be the magic answer to all my modeling problems. Here's the deal. I've added the tools from the kit and modified them a bit. They're still basic, nothing fancy, but they get the job done and save me a few bucks in the process. Sometimes simple really is enough. While I'm spinning this Panther around, I noticed a gap in the front. This was a motorized kit once upon a time ago, and now snagging a vintage kit with that motor, you're looking at around $100 or so. So I'm filling the gap and finishing up the Zimmerit on the bottom, because when this was a motorized kit, the top section was meant to be removed, so I guess so you could replace the batteries or perhaps a broken motor. You may also notice that there's some pieces missing to those fenders. I believe that was done so that air could get in there and perhaps the motor would not overheat, but that's just a guess. But here we are. What are we doing here? I'm just showing you all the Zimmerit. Yeah, just about done with this. A couple of things I gotta do, and then I was like, oh my god, I forgot these welds, and now I need to do those. Always seems to be the case. Alright, we are just about done with this video, so let's talk about this particular kit. It is $20. Well, I got it for $20. You'll find some eBayers trying to sell it for like 30. Don't buy it for that much. You'll find it for cheaper, or even cheaper. It's a basic kit. There's not much to it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a motorized kit. It's still a motorized kit, but you just don't get the battery. I remember when I first got it, I think the motor was included. I wish I had that. Yeah, it's like over $100 for that kit now. Jeez. But anyway, it's a basic kit. But as you can see, you can do things to it to make it better. And I had a recent commenter say that this is like a blank canvas, and he is right. It really is a blank canvas. It's the perfect model to practice all kinds of techniques, and get a couple of them and try one with Zimmerit. Try the armor, the armor texture. That's really easy. And what I'm doing now, the weld seams, that's really easy too. It's not hard. It's just going to take you a couple times to get it. Like I said earlier in the video, I kind of wish I just stuck with just the Panther, but I cut off the end of the barrel, so I'm kind of stuck. But I did say I wanted to do a conflict tank, and I do want to stick with that, and we are. So the next video will be all the painting. Well, first I need to finish some of the Zimmerit, a few welds, and things like that. I really wanted this video for upload to be the Tiger tank starting that restoration build. But with the Hawks going to the Philippines this week, it was really tough. Things were tight. So I put it in the back burner. I did open the box, quickly closed it though. But thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for my last video, over 5K. Yeah. Alright, I will see you in the next video. Next week's video will be the Tiger. I will start it. I promise. See you. What was that? See you next week. Oh my god, that's horrible.